Okay, we're looking at the yen pairs 12th of October 2023, the London session setups. So the horizontal blue bar you see is midnight open, and today is a good example of a day when waiting for your primary signal to come from the yen index doesn't really work. Okay, so first of all, where are the signals? We don't get any break of the high, no break of the low. The first thing we get is this at 8:30, which is a close above the London ODR. So when this happens, this it's not really an entry, but your bias for the session at least is long on the yen. Okay, so that's 8:30, and then at 9 o'clock we get the Asian range break high. Okay, so you could be bullish either from 9 or 8:30 on the yen. Right, so this is the pound. You'll see 8:30 is here. The bulk of the move has already happened, and that's 9. You're catching the bottom for the session. Okay, not a great signal. EJ, similar kind of thing. So it happens here. Like you could have put an alert on any one of these wicks to look for an entry short. And on the Aussie was actually a bit better. So Aussie, this is not a bad setup, because the other two, so we said 8:30, the yen index has closed above its ODR high. Okay, at 8:30, the GJ is closed below. Also at 8:30, the EJ has closed below. So that's a good indication that this primary signal we're getting is good. Okay, the AJ, however, hasn't. Right, we've had this big move down, and it looks like we're getting a retracement. Now, ideally, when you get a move like this, you always want to get as much discount or premium as possible. In this case, we didn't get it. Okay, so depending on how aggressive you are, you could have got an entry from like the POC. To be honest, you probably wouldn't have got this, because I like to put my entries just above these wicks, see them taken out, and then price come below. So relying on the yen wouldn't have give you the best setups. Okay, if you just went and looked at them individually, pound didn't do much. We didn't get any liquidity sweeps. However, the euro and the Aussie both did. Okay, so euro gave us a liquidity sweep right at the beginning of the London Open. So we get the close above, which entitles us to start looking for ARB trades, but we don't take the ARB because we don't have the signal. Okay, but when we get this, so we get green candle up, red candle with a wick below it, it's still not clear. Then we get this one with the majority of the wick above it. Okay, it's probably more clear by now because we've closed back inside. So let's say it's 6:15. We want to have another look at what's happening on the yen. 6:10, 6:15, still not clear. We're below the midnight, and we've got this wick, another wick. It could go down from here. But when this closes forcefully above at 6:20, that could be enough for us to want to get short on the EJ, GJ, or any of those crosses. So 6:20, where does that put you? It's a big move down. Okay, we're on the right. We've got the right idea, but we don't want to enter from here. We got to wait for a decent pullback. So you wait for this candle to form, and then this green candle to form. Now you have a 5-minute range to work with. So what you do, you fib it up and you see where your discounts are. Okay, now you don't always get the deep discount. So probably, and then look here, we've got 5-minute fair value gap. Probably when you see this one form, the green candle with the wick above it, if you enter at the close of that candle with your stop above the high, that's still only 10 pips. Okay, so you can expect that's 20 pips down there. So you could get a decent 2-to-1 from there. So where you're going to put your entry is going to be dependent on where you think an appropriate target could be. But you definitely get a 2-to-1 there. If it goes beyond there, even better. So 6:20, what happened? So when we see this 6:20, this EJ is turning at 6:20. What's happening on the AJ at 620? Still nothing. Okay, we haven't had a significant liquidity take. We've got these wicks coming into the fair value gap. You know, you could make a minor argument for it, but probably not, given that, you know, the EJ looks like the better trade. But what happens here? 645, we get an Asian sweep of the Asian high. Okay, failure to close above, and immediately closing back inside. That's at 645. So at 645, we've got potentially a really good trade, less than 10 pips. You know, it's 15 pips to the Asian low, at least. So there's probably a 2-to-1 in there somewhere. So 645, what's happening on the yen? We're there. So price has shot through, taken out this liquidity. It's come down to the midnight, but we're getting wicks here. So we're staying above the midnight. So the confluence of that, what's happening on the yen index, with seeing the this failure or this liquidity take to close back inside, plus the GJ overall is not taking any liquidity, it's going down 645 somewhere around here. So I mean, it's not brilliant, but you put them all together, in addition to this, you've got a good argument to take a short. Okay, so just to recap, using the yen index is a good tool for confirmation, and it does keep you out of bad trades, particularly Asian range break trades. Okay, if you get an Asian range break on one pair that isn't reflected on the yen index, then there's less probability that's going to work out. Okay, on the flip side of that, however, if you're waiting for breaks of the Asian range before even looking for trades, you will miss some trades. So you would have missed this EJ short and also the AJ short. And the good thing is that they came at different times. So you would have been in the EJ, you could have been in the EJ from 620, or not 620. From 620 you could have started looking for your short, but you wouldn't want to take the short from there. You'd want a decent pullback, and whether you took it from the close of this green candle or even the close of this one, having taken the prior one out, or you could have just put your limit at a deep premium, the 035 level. You know, there was enough time for the setups to come at different times on different pairs. Okay, and so in order to help confirm your trade, although this doesn't always work, but I think it's useful to use as a tool of confluence. So for example, this is the Aussie aggregate. It doesn't contain Aussie yen in it. So whatever's happening here is independent of the Aussie yen. So at 640, you're getting a break of the Asian highs. Okay. However, by 7 o'clock, what's happened? So this is 645. 645 is when you get the perfect setup on the AJ. So let's say 645, you see this here, you go look at the yen, then you're going to go look at the Aussie, see what's happening on the Aussie. So it's not clear, because so far it looks pretty bullish. It's closed quite bullish above the Asian range, but it's coming exactly into halfway of yesterday's London, what do you call it, ODR. Okay, so it's and surprisingly this works quite a lot. When it comes to this level, it often turns from there. So if you want to be conservative, you want to wait for confirmation of Aussie weakness, then you have to wait basically for price to close back inside the Aussie range, which is the close of the 7 o'clock candle. Okay, so you could have waited for the 7 o'clock. The only thing is that puts you down here, and you still get a good trade depending on where you want to put your stop loss. Like you could have got away even with 10 pips. The only thing is, where is your, I mean, this is in hindsight it was a fantastic trade, but if you're looking at it like this, where is your drawn liquidity? Could it be here? Possibly down there. So you'd have to do your higher time frame analysis for that, but just to kind of illustrate the point, this does help as well, although you don't get it like at perfectly the right time. Let's just have a quick look at the euro at the same time. Okay, so our euro setup we said came a bit earlier, so 620, but by the time that closed, we're looking for a pullback. So let's see what the euro is doing around the same time. So this is Thursday the 12th, end of the Asian session. We get this spike above, okay, and there's a fairly big wick, and I can't see any immediate liquidity. However, so we get the spike above, but by 6:15 we've closed back inside the Asian range. So that would be a factor of confluence for us, 6:15, to take this down.